Hello, Brooke Medicine Eagle, and welcome to this little conversation that I'm very excited to have about Buffalo Woman's Lodge of Wholeness and sitting in silence and joy with you in December. Thanks for taking the time just to share so that I can share this out with a little bit about what's coming through for you to offer right now.
All right. Well, it's wonderful to be with you, and I'm very excited about this. I've been doing a lot of my own homework. You know, I feel it's really important for me to grow spiritually, and I find that I seem to offer to people what I'm learning. And I think that's good in a way. I never consider myself like an expert or a master, but I really am right in the process of working with these energies and feeling them. And I'm really excited about this. It's a deeper level of work with Buffalo Woman. And I've always been a very universal person in a way. I'm tribal, I'm indigenous, and yet I'm, that rainbow warrior that is really about the larger whole. And I feel like the work that's coming through now, in a way, is universal. But for me, of course, it's couched in my work with and my understanding of White Buffalo Woman's work. And White Buffalo Woman has always and ever been about wholeness. She said, whatever you do to any other person or being in the whole circle of life, you do to yourself, for you are one being. So that wholeness, she didn't say you're one group, you're one family, you're one gang, you're one nation, you're one anything. She said you are one. And of course, that's really the understanding that scientists are catching up with, as I tease them. They're catching up with in quantum physics. And White Buffalo Woman brought that understanding to us 20 generations ago. And yet the logical mind can't really grasp that we're actually one with the whole of everything in the universes. And so, but it's such a powerful place to be able to stand in wholeness and holiness, and to live into our lives through that. And it's challenging because our logical minds, it's like one with air. What? It's like we just can't go there in the logical little forebrain mind that we have. So I've been doing a lot of work with getting into that deeper mind, which I call intelligence, which is the ancient brain. And it's the shaman's mind. Um, it's the place where we can actually connect to that wholeness. And it's not, it's beyond words in so many ways. We can't, it's not something we can say, oh, yeah, I feel whole with everything, kind of in our daily life. But there's a deeper place that we can sit in a sense that we hold that. And so what's interesting to me is that I feel like it's really work for our time, a spiritual practice for our time, and that it's really the deepest of spiritual practices, because it's really about stepping out of our daily world in a sense, and dropping back into the deeper level of quietness and observing the world that allows us to see it, to process it, not to stuff all of that, anything that's negative or frightening or all of that, not to stuff it down to deal with later, because it does come up. Most of us have a backlog of craziness that we have stuffed down. And for some reason, we seem to hang on to the things that are difficult for us. I mean, it'd be great if we hung on to the things that were, yeah, it's fabulous. But we seem to, there's a way we kind of can't integrate those things. And so to be able to really sit in that lodge of silence also, I believe, brings us into a place of incredible joy. Because when we can clear out some of the stuff that we've stuffed, uh, and open the space, Creator has this incredible uprising joy and love that can be you know, just the essence of our energy. And I believe that kind of energy is what can transform both our lives and what's going on in the world. Because we're really challenged. I mean, we're really, really challenged right now by what's happening around us. And when I think of it, I was talking with, in a sense, in meditation with the Great Mother, and um, being concerned. I've been teaching on the road for over 55 years, and I've always taught about wholeness and connecting with everything, and the oneness, and loving life and respecting and honoring. And I just felt like, oh, oh, oh my gosh, is this where we got to? This horror in some ways. And I mean, it just kind of broke my heart. I thought, I guess I could have just taken a vacation because it felt so much like what I've been doing had not maybe made an impact. But I know that it did. And what was said is that when, excuse me, should have moved that. uh, what was said to me by my guides was that as the great feminine arises, and that's the time we're in, as that great feminine arises, it brings up with it all of the negativity and craziness and the hidden stuff and the yucky stuff for us to face. And we certainly can see that happening. It's like just right out front, there's no hiding anymore. It feels like they're just right out front with these agendas that are so negative, and kind of proud of them. And so we're getting to really be faced with those things and find our way through those, because the thing is to see them, face them, and make a different choice and live a different choice. And it's traumatic, it's challenging. We're all challenged right now. And I want to share in the evening I'm going to do about the dividing energy, how we are moving into a time when I believe there will be a real crash of some of the energy, but for those who can vibrate at a higher level, we can lift up into a new world. So, but to do that, to keep our vibration clear and loving and let that love come up through, I mean, it takes some doing. And as I said, I certainly am not a master of it, but I'm really in progress with that. And I love the feeling of what it does, because it does bring a kind of joy. And so I just believe that that's where we need to go next, and that the answers to our problems, yes, we need to be spiritually active. Yes, we need to be out there, doing our thing in the regular world, in the daily world, whether we're protesting or creating positive action in some kind of a sustainable way. But I feel like the deeper work and the more powerful work, the more sustaining work, is the work of vibrating that joy and love and transforming what's around us with that. And another thing that's really wonderful about that, I think, when one can really sit in that lodge of silence and of wholeness, is that we find that a lot of the answers, a lot of the where do I go, what do I do, just arising up in us in a way that's not like, let me see, what do I have to do, and how do I do this, and where do I go, and what can we do, and that kind of energy from here, that there's a kind of wonderful guidance coming for us. So it's it's interesting to think about stepping into that lodge of silence in a way which is stepping out of the world. But at another level, I feel like it's stepping more into it, because we're really opening ourselves to be available for what is, what the truth of what is, and then also available to transmute and transform that when we can step back a bit and get out of our emotional self and our lower self, stepping into a higher level, then we can really create solutions and bring through energy that's going to make a difference. So, I feel like this is about your spiritual life. It's just the most powerful thing I can imagine offering for that. And it's about this incredible world that we're wanting to make a difference in, and giving you maybe the calm and the in a sense grounded place, grounded in spirit, to move forward into action, and and just create a different vibration that will really make a positive difference, and I think shift what's going on in our daily life. That's a little high level talking, I guess, but does that make sense, Jessica?
Hmm. Yes. It really resonates for me on a number of levels. And I think just that piece of wholeness and that, there is, and I experience it in myself and in so many of us, that tension that we walk between this, that I walk between this presence to the heartbreak and the crisis and this sense of urgency about it. And, how many things can I do today, ongoing to try to stop it or change it or whatnot, which you reference, and that piece of when we can draw ourselves back from that agitated energy, as you said, that has that emotional, for me it's the tone of fear, right? Um and I can hear, as you're talking, it's like these voices that are part of this inner, not dialogue, I don't know, multilogue that goes on in my mind. That's like, well, of course you need to be upset. And I feel that in my own, several decade now journey, that I am settling more into this kind of recognition that whatever it is that I actually do and the actions that I do take, when they do arise, and you have been such a profound, you know I don't know if I have the right words, because it's both teacher and also just really embodied example, that for me it's that transmission that comes when I'm with you, because I do feel the accumulated, quality of your stillness and your joy, that I know lives alongside your absolute profound love and devotion to our great Mother Earth and to the wonder of life and to the mystery of life, um, that I know has supported me to be able to drop outside of that agitated tension and be able to be more effective and more, to
Yeah.
come from a different place, to presence in a different way, a way that you use the word sustainable. I mean, so many of the organizing communities I'm a part of here in DC, XRDC, which is just a wonderful group of creative activists and devoted, nonviolent, direct action, practitioners, on the regenerative culture group, working group with them, because the idea is that how do we really care for ourselves and care for one another, in a substantive and impactful and effective way, as we, process through all the feelings that we're having about what's going on, and find our place in it in a way that is life enhancing, and not, so many activist communities that so many of us are part of, the question of burnout. Because of course, as one person who is having an emotional response to a systemic created and a systemic perpetuated, you know circumstance that we're in, it can feel so overwhelming, and if we're always responding to that sense of urgency, um then it obviously will be draining. So it does resonate with me, and I'm really looking forward to you coming back to DC, because I was, out of the country for several months, and I've just come back and been here a few weeks, and I'm getting back into, the community here and picking back up, and as they say, the stream has continued to move, and I've come back into a city like a lot of American cities right now where there is military presence. You've got the reserves in groups walking around armed, many more helicopters overhead. That dial is being turned up in order to
Yeah,
turn up that fear and panic, which is paralyzing, as you often talk about when you're working with how, what happens to us, right? When we are in threat, and you often will use the, kind of talking about the learnings that so many come from, as you said, the observances and the deep teachings that all the other beings, the hooved ones and the winged ones, have to teach us about how to move, how to
yeah,
move in a good way through our world, um, and to not kind of be, how can we really engage with our nervous systems so that we are not, as they turn up the dial, trying
hmm,
to ratchet up our nervous systems further into fear and
right,
panic. How can we be resilient and resistant to that inside of ourselves,
yeah.
so anyway, that's what's coming to me. And so I'm really excited you're coming here now at this time. And
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating to me that I'm coming back to DC at this time. It's just really quite remarkable, and it feels I feel very empowered and wanting to empower others as well, and find that place from which we can really live the respect and honoring and love that White Buffalo Woman invites us into. And so we'll do some deep work. We'll also dance and laugh and share, and just our gatherings are always really lovely, and it's a chance for people to be together and to dance in circle and to sing and we'll have some time in quiet. There's some beautiful area there where we'll be, and just to have those moments of quiet, which sometimes are not very available in our lives. So I think we're going to have a combination of things. A Friday evening group and then our weekend group will really offer a lot to people. And anyway, I'm just thrilled about being there, and I'm so honored that you are willing to support that for your community.
of course, I really am grateful that you're here, and that you can be here. One thing I thought I would ask, give you a little chance for those people who may receive this and be taking it in, and obviously people can find out, so many things about you. Read White Buffalo, A Buffalo Woman Comes Calling, and Last Ghost Dance, which is a beautiful, another book that really carries forward what you hold in the wisdom that arises in and through the all the other beings that we live among. Um, but what would you maybe just share in brief, to orient people a little bit to White Buffalo Woman, and sort of what your relationship with her has been, perhaps, or is to you? And I don't know if that makes
Well,
sense. Just a little
yeah.
something there.
Well, it's interesting that White Buffalo Woman brought the pipe that people think of as the peace pipe all around the world. She came to a group of Lakota people in the back country, the wild country of North America, 20 generations ago, and that gift that she offered and that has been shared from that has really spread around the world. So there's that sense that it's a peace pipe, which is very interesting. It's called by the Lakota people a Chanupa, a sacred pipe. And that's the symbol of that wholeness and holiness. And when I did my vision quests, my 4 days on the mountain and that kind of thing, and also then when I've gotten into an experience of a deeper, more feminine kind of quest, which is working with our moon time and our quiet when we have our moon time. It just seems that her presence is very strong. And I've been told that she's basically an earth goddess, that she's been here since the beginning of the earth. And I think she's seen in other cultures, maybe in different looks a little different in form, but she's really, she's really the essence of our earth and a deep and rich sweetness for the whole earth. And I just find her, it's almost like she's standing behind me, really giving me a place to stand that's powerful and whole and holy. Um, so that it's not about, when I think about what she offers, it's not like holiness is Sunday morning sitting somewhere and looking up in the sky at a white bearded God. Holiness is really absolutely embracing, loving, respecting, and honoring the whole circle of life that Creator made and continues to make. And so it's just a grounded place for me. And so I feel like she's coming to so many of us in many different ways. It's not like I have a special anything um, like a special hold on her or anything, but her message is coming through more and more and more. And it's about the pipe at one level, because the pipe is the symbol of the teaching. But I feel like sometimes we get caught in that sense of the physical and the pipe and all that, which is sacred and beautiful and powerful and amazing. And yet there's this deeper level of working with the wholeness and holiness and finding ourselves in that and able to hold that ourselves, that feels like what's happening now. And I feel really graced to be understanding a deeper level of her work. And I feel like that's where she's, it's not like she comes and stands in front of me and says, "Okay, Brooke, this is what I'm about." There's just something constantly filtering in. And when I did my early vision quests, where I first began to connect with her, it felt like the energy really came like into my womb, into my body, and it's literally rising up even now, decades later. It's rising up into my consciousness and informing me in ways that continue to push my growth and to uplift my growth. So it's really wonderful to have that and to be able to share something about that with people, because it's for all people.
Hmm. Well, I just feel such a warmth in my heart. I feel just an energy, a vitality in my belly, and just tingles to feel, you know, the gratitude I feel to be preparing to welcome you here, the opportunity for people to be with you here and to be in relationship with all that you are presencing and carrying through the many decades of, I love the term you used, progress in your spiritual path, because I often use the word process, but I like that little twist, progress, because we are progressing, forward in our own, or, in our own journeys, and to honor that and mark that, um, just feels really beautiful. And I invite people to, it's indescribable, in my experience, to be able to be with you, Brooke, and to feel that presence that you hold, and the vitality that you are, and the deep love, and devotion and joy and wisdom that comes through you. So thank you.
Well,
And
as we complete here, I do want to, like you, invite people. I've had such a joy in Washington, D.C., and inviting the people from that whole area. I feel like we'll just be a fabulous group together, and that in itself will be an incredible joy. And I think we're going to have a wonderful time. So welcome, welcome. Come join us.
yay. All right, we'll see you there.
All right.